Hello, I'm Chris Williams from Read Comics They're Bad For You, the name of my YouTube channel. Or if you're watching this on BitChute, the name of my BitChute channel is Comic Freak. Welcome to part 2 of my Vice South Park video. Now, the name of the article, as I'll remind you, is South Park Made It Cool Not to Care, Then the World Changed. An article written by an obvious SJW who attacks South Park because it dares to make fun of trans people as well as minorities, but like the old saying goes, if you can't laugh at everything, you're not allowed to laugh at anyone. And that's the crux of the matter. We can't let them take away our ability to be able to laugh at everyone. The article continues off where I left in the last video. In spite of this, Parker and Stone have remained unable to or unwilling to differentiate between the restrictions that powerful institutions like the MPAA and television networks impose on free speech and that of the contemporary discourse that seeks to shield marginalized communities from further marginalization. They simply hear someone say, "You can't say that." The article continues with, "This outrage with respect to PC culture has been the centerpiece of South Park's last few series. Season 19 brought us the PC Principal, a muscled frat bro on a mission to violently impose politically correct behavior on the residents of South Park. Several of them quickly joined forces with him, delighting in the opportunity to peacock their newfound wokeness and punish those who failed to keep pace. Later episodes introduced literal PC crybabies, upset by everything without understanding why. The takeaway is simple. Political correctness has little to do with empathy and everything to do with virtue signaling and a sort of tribalistic zeal for punishing those who don't conform." And that's what it is. You say all that stuff, but you think it's actually a lie. But that's exactly what's happening. The writer of this Vice article, who I refuse to even learn the name of, even though I could easily read the name on the article, but I think I'll just keep making fun of you because I don't know your name. In an interview with Vulture shortly after Season 19 aired, a reporter asked Stone and Parker whether they were at all concerned that their anti-PC stance aligns with Donald Trump. While Stone was quick to point out that he and Parker don't think they probably agree with the president's views, he was equally eager frame political correctness as a phenomenon that makes people afraid to laugh. This is not to say that the show suddenly became right-wing. Those seasons still devote ample airtime to ridiculing Trump, white supremacists, and gun culture, but its overriding opposition to the idea of ever conceding any amount of personal freedom to accommodate others aligns it with some of the more venomous ways that politicians and pundits have weaponized the free speech argument in contemporary discourse. No, it isn't. We just don't want any of our freedoms taken away. Conceding any freedom is a bad idea. I don't care what you say. Marginalized groups do not deserve others to be marginalized just to make them feel better. As he said, if you can't make fun of everyone, you can't make fun of anyone. That's how the old saying goes. Whoever said that first was a smart guy. Fox News has, of course, long and thrived on getting people mad over the fact that you can't say anything anymore. 4chan began as a place for people to post disturbing things that made them laugh and evolved into a breeding ground for Gamergate, the alt-right and white nationalism. More recently, YouTuber Steven Crowder has positioned himself as a brave defendant of free speech thanks to his refusal to stop employing racist and homophobic rhetoric. While psychology professor motivational speaker Jordan Peterson has continually used the same reasoning to justify his refusal to use respectful gender pronouns. Meanwhile, Donald Trump seems to persist in the belief that blowing about the shadow banning of conservatives and how people should be able to say Merry Christmas is an effective way to convince his base that he is all for free speech and personal freedom. He is, and that is the truth. Continuing on, at the end of the day, these so-called free speech initiatives are all deeply, furiously concerned with the way other people are living their lives, the gender they identify as, their sexuality, the language they speak, the skin color. It is the polar opposite of the just leave people be ethos that early South Park espoused. But it can all be part of the same fight because it all has the same similar feeling. Well, I think it all has the same feeling because it's all about freedom. Cartoonist Charlie Spoke Trotman once quipped that the worst thing about nerds who become bullies is that you'll never convince them that they're anything but victims. She was talking about Gamergate specifically, but it's an observation that applies just as easily to the war on so-called PC culture at large, and it's hard to think of a better environment of this than South Park's recent Cancel South Park, an ad campaign to make fun of and make people think that someone's trying to cancel South Park. The truth is that no one seems to have really made much effort to censor South Park in quite some time. They are no longer the outsiders fighting back against the establishment. Oh yeah? You mean like yourselves? You're the establishment and you're trying to censor them. They are the establishment, two of the world's richest comedians whose signature show cost Comedy Central $192 million to renew back in 2015. But so long as they position themselves as underdogs, they risk empowering those who seek to use their invented victimhood as a smokescreen for bigotry. This is Fox News' gambit when they talk about war on Christmas. Trump's angle when he texts the fake news for criticizing him, bullies acting like victims, to spark that particular put upon sort of outrage that ignites their base. When South Park acts like it's still the rebel throwing rocks at the establishment, rather than platform for grievances of two insanely rich straight white men, it's playing the same game. No, it isn't. You are, though, because you insist on doing and saying this about them. South Park can never be what it was back in its bigger, longer, and uncut days because too much has changed. Today's most urgent cultural battles are less about top-down censorship and more about the ways the nuances of policy, language, and representation can hurt historically marginalized people, in part because social media has ensured that these people are finally having their concerns heard. If we dismiss these discussions, this article is over with. He's just going on about how Matt and Trey Parker are just bad white men who are rich, who didn't work for this and who got this because they are privileged. Blah, 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 blah. This is just shows you that the writer of, or the writers at Vice don't know or have any idea about comedy or how the world works, and that if they ever actually saw any real repression and violence from actual communists or, well, actual fascists, they would probably die of fright. That's it for my retrospective on this article. And I use the word article in air quotes, so I'll just go back into my usual spiel by saying subscribe, make sure you're still subscribed. I mean that. YouTube is going around unsubscribing people, so make sure you are still subscribed. If you're watching my video but you have not subscribed, please subscribe to me. Subscribe to me at YouTube at Read Comics They're Bad For You. Then go over to BitChute and subscribe to my BitChute channel, Comic Freak. Hit that bell for notifications, hit that like button, and leave some comments down below. Could you all please do me a favor by sharing this video, share it on Twitter, and share it on Facebook? Because YouTube is no longer promoting their creators' videos anymore. It would really help me if you could please share this video. And keep checking back in future videos for more information on my own upcoming independent comic book, Scumdogs. I'm Chris Williams, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another video or review.